Hey everybody, welcome to another Very Not Random. Sorry to inform you, you don't have the amazing Adrian Bosman today. It's just me. Boz is, well, I was going to make a joke that he's never coming back, but he missed one show last year. I made a joke like that, and everybody in the comments thought it was real and that he was never coming back, and they were very sad. So Boz is coming back. He's just busy this week with his other work responsibilities, and so he'll be back next week, so don't worry about it. But the show must go on. Before I get into the show today, which is going to be about real life vacation workouts, my family and I just snuck away for a few day little trip down to California. And these are the workouts that I was supposed to do if I was in my garage and could control my training and had all the time that I wanted. And what I wound up doing in the hotel gym with the gear that they had available and the time that I had to sneak away from the family. Before I get into that, of course, we appreciate your support. If you want to help keep supporting the show, go to verynotrandom.com. Check out all the cycles that we offer. They'll help you get your first pull-up, bar muscle-up, handstand walk. There's barbell programs, there's conditioning programs. So check them all out. And then, of course, if you're a gym owner, you've got to do all the stuff needed to run your gym. Workout tracking, gym management, and billing. btwb has that all in one place for you with their all-in-one solution. So if you are a gym owner, go to btwb.com and check out the all-in-one. Okay, without me to, go back and forth with against Boz, it probably is actually going to be not that long of a show, but we'll get right into it. So we snuck away for a family vacation, just myself, my wife, and our 4-year-old girl. The two boys had other stuff to do. And we're down there on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. At least those are the days that I was supposed to work out. And anyone who's watched or listened to Very Not Random knows that we're not a fancy podcast. So maybe I'll see if the editor can put these workouts up on the screen. That'd be really cool with text to show what I was supposed to do and what I actually did. And if not, I'll put them in the show notes so you can see what the actual workout for that day was and then what I wound up doing. So the first one that was on Monday, July 21st, 2025, that was the workout day. And that is a 9-round workout. I know, 9 rounds. Don't worry about it though. Since it's 9 rounds, each amount of work is very manageable. What I was supposed to do was 9 rounds for time of 12 dumbbell power snatches, a 100-meter run, 8 box jumps, and 6 toes to bar. 12 dumbbell power snatches, 100-meter run, 8 box jumps, 6 toes to bar, 9 rounds of that. Just supposed to be able to just keep you moving and wonderfully uncomfortable and miserable the whole time, but it's actually sustainable. And that's both the joy of it and the problem. So we get down there. My wife's good at disconnecting. I'm not. I actually have to work out on vacation or I can't enjoy my vacation. I know I should probably seek counseling, but that's just how I'm wired. And so I told them, look, I'm going to go check out the hotel gym. I'll be back in 30 minutes. No matter what I find, I'll be back in 30 minutes because I can sneak away from the family for that much without them feeling like I'm detracting from the holiday. So I get into the gym and I have to say, the hotel gym was pretty darn good to go. Here's what I consider good to go. If I see a dumbbell rack, we're good. I've got no worries in the entire world. It had a dumbbell rack. Of course, they have treadmills. Everybody has treadmills. So they had dumbbells, they had treadmills. Then they also had one of those odd structures. I don't know who makes it. Techno Gym or something like that, where it's almost like it's got cables on both sides. You could do some cable crossovers, and it's got the adjustable weight stacks with all these cable pulley attachments. But up top, between these two towers, they're connected by a bar, and there's a pull-up bar up there. Sometimes the pull-up bars are connected. Sometimes they're 2 handles that you can grab. This one was the 2 handles that you could grab. And they were, of course, covered in some weird foam that had every human being that's ever worked out in theirs sweat seeped into it and absorbed. So it was this odd, it was whatever it is. But point being, there was something that I could do pull-ups on, but I sure as heck was not going to try to kip off that thing because I feel like I'd just fly off and hit the ground. But there was a pull-up bar. Cool. They even had a single concept 2-rower. So that was awesome. They had a whole bunch of just machines, to work out with, but they had a rower. They had some kettlebells, but they kind of sucked. They were the kettlebells that you see in hotel gyms and commercial gyms where the handles are like high polished. I don't know if it's stainless steel or something, but it's shiny. And it's like the most slippery substance on the face of the earth. And how you would swing a kettlebell with your hands, even the least bit sweaty and not have it fly out of your hand, I don't know. But they did have kettlebells and they had a box to jump on. So I had no complaints in this whole place. So for that first workout that I just mentioned, I basically could do the thing almost as prescribed. They had dumbbells, so I could do the dumbbell power snatch. I wanted to do the 100-meter run on the treadmill, but it'd be so much back and forth. And a 100-meter run, let's just say that takes, it's like 30 seconds of running. So that didn't really work out too well. The rower was right there, so I just figured I'd hop on the rower each time. Instead of doing that 100-meter run, I would row 125 meters. Because in my mind, a 100-meter run is 1/4 of a 400-meter run, which we're used to doing. Usually, if you aren't going to do a 400-meter run, you do a 500-meter row. So a quarter of that is 125 meters. So I was just going to hop on the rower. I do my 12 dumbbell power snatches. I put the dumbbell right next to the rower. I'd hop on the rower. I'd pull the rower for 30 seconds, get 125 meters. I had the box right there. I do my 8 box jumps. And I had this all set up right next to that weird thing that I just said that had the foamy pull-up bar on it. And then I would jump up on that thing. And I wasn't kipping, and I don't really like or do toes to bar. They just don't treat my body well. Believe it or not, knees to elbows treat me better. So I do 6 knees to elbows each time. And they would be strict because I didn't want to swing it all on that thing. And so that was my little workout. So in all honesty, that Monday, I can't complain at all. Had the dumbbell snatches. Okay, I rowed instead of ran. I had a box to jump on, and I did, knees to elbows instead of toes to bar. As far as I'm concerned, it's like the exact same workout. So it was great. In full disclosure, I just went right up there real quick. Had no intention of warming up because I'm on vacation, got to get back to the family. And so I grabbed the 35-pound dumbbell. I would have warmed up and done the 50 if I was home, but I knew that I could grab the 35 with no warm-up whatsoever and just start going. And so I did it with the 35. Fitness was achieved. It was great. It was fantastic. I think it took ballpark 20 minutes-ish, somewhere around there. And then I went ish, somewhere. So give me some leeway there, ish. And then I walked back down with no cool down, and that was it. That was day one. It was absolutely fantastic. Now let's say they didn't have the rower and I couldn't get back and forth on the treadmill. For what should have been that 100 meters of running, I'd have done something else. I would have done 30 seconds of jumping jacks, 30 seconds of running in place. Like there's something else that I could have done that I'd have been totally good to go. And so, so that was day one. And at the end of that day, after dinner, my daughter spied like this big chocolate chip cookie that she wanted. So we split a big chocolate chip cookie, in full disclosure. So that was Monday. Tuesday, vacation happening, life is good. That's Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. The workout that I would have done, or was prescribed, I should say, I'd have scaled this no matter what, if I was in my garage, 21-15-9, reps for time, of a push press and chest to bar pull-ups. A simple couplet, couldn't be simpler. 21-15-9, push press and chest to bar pull-ups. The loading for the push press was supposed to be percentage based. It's supposed to be 65% of your 1 rep max push press. Now, even if I was in my garage and could do whatever I want, I wouldn't have done the push press. Overhead is not my friend. It's just feels bad and potentially injurious and just flat out dumb for me to do it. So I usually press in other directions. So I'd have done dumbbell bench press or something like that if I was at home. So on day 2, rushed into the gym when I could break away, when it made sense. And I think I was in and out, honestly, in less than 20 minutes. And so again, kind of the point of this is, if you do want to work out, if you're away from home, if you're on vacation, if you're somewhere else, you can make modifications to gear as long as you understand what the workout is that you're trying to preserve that stimulus. And if you don't have a lot of time, you don't necessarily need a lot of time. So I ran, got into the gym, and instead of doing the 21-15-9 push press and chest to bar pull-ups, because I'm not going overhead and I'm not doing chest to bar kipping pull-ups on that terrible pull-up structure that I mentioned a second ago. I just walked over to the dumbbell rack, grabbed a pair of 50s, put a flat bench next to that terrible pull-up bar, and I just did 4 rounds of 15 dumbbell bench press with a pair of 50s and 15 strict pull-ups. I know it's more pull-ups, but I kind of like pull-ups anyway. So the workout that I should have done had pressing overhead and an upper body pull. And then what I did had pressing and an upper body pull. Is it the exact same? No. I wasn't shortchanged though. It was great. Fitness was achieved. I felt fantastic. And then I just knew that I was going to be, on vacation. The nutrition was going to be a little bit of a moving target, shall we say. So, that didn't take too long to do the 4 rounds of 15 and 15. So I just went over to the treadmill and just ran a hard mile on the treadmill. Got huffing and puffing, walked back down to the hotel room. In and out of the hotel gym in 20 minutes. It was awesome. Not that that mile run made up for it, but that night, getting on vacation, we had this wonderful pizza, had like a sourdough crust. It was so good. Not to go on a tangent about the pizza, but I had the pizza, and then we figured, you know what? Might as well burn the boats. There's an ice cream shop. There's a Cold Stone Creamery within walking distance of the hotel. We just walked down to the Cold Stone Creamery and we got ice cream. So pizza and ice cream. I had cookie on night 1, pizza and ice cream on night 2. And I think in the Cold Stone, they have those weird sizes, but I told them I want the medium size, whatever that size is, vanilla ice cream in there. And then I just told the girl working there, basically give me what you feel is a borderline obnoxious amount of peanut butter and brownies in it. And then we'll be good to go. And she did exactly that. And she was tipped well for it. So that was day number 2. And then the final day, which was Wednesday, July 23rd. This actually saddened me that I missed this workout in my garage. I would have loved to hit this. It was a classic heavy day, hang squat clean. 4 sets of 8 on the hang squat clean. That would be beautiful. And if I was in the garage, I'd have done a beautiful dedicated warm-up. I'd have rested probably 4 minutes between each one of those sets. But a cool down. I've been in the garage for like an hour to do that workout. Didn't have that. Got the family. Can't be the weirdo that's in the gym working out the whole time. So I was going to give myself another 20 minutes. And I was just figuring out, what am I going to do? How does my body feel? Walked into the hotel gym and I said, okay, I'm not going to warm up. What can I do with no warm up? Probably not something explosive. I was thinking like dumbbell hang squat cleans, talked myself out of it. What I wound up doing, I grabbed the 50s again, trusty pair of 50-pound dumbbells, and with no warm up, just did 4 rounds. I put the dumbbells next to the treadmill, 4 rounds of a 400-meter run and 15 dumbbell squats with a pair of 50s. It was great. It was fantastic. I modulated I never had to break up the dumbbell squats. I did stop on several occasions, catch my breath, do a couple reps, catch my breath, do a couple reps in the rounds 3 and 4, for sure. And every time I hopped on the treadmill, I would just try to run a little bit faster than I did the round before because I didn't warm up at all. So the first 400 meters was slow. The second one kicked up a bit. Third one I was huffing and puffing. The fourth one I went for broke. And that took again, less than 20 minutes. I was back down in my room. Was it exactly like what 4 sets of 8 hang squat clean? Nope, the loading was the same. It wasn't an Olympic lift. I get all that stuff. But the point of that day also was I wanted to do something which would be below parallel. And that's exactly what I did. And it was fantastic. And that night, I can't remember what we ate. I think I ate quasi decently. But then we saw a mom and pop ice cream shop, not a chain. And I thought it would be criminal if we didn't support a local business. So we went to the mom and pop ice cream shop, and it was just as good as you would hope that it was. And I got 3 scoops, and they were generous, by the way, in a waffle bowl of mint Oreo. So simple, so good. No regrets in any way, shape, or form. And so that's it. Fast workouts, no warm-up, no cool-down, no stretching. Not ideal, but I did everything within the parameters and loadings and everything that I knew for at least a 3-day stretch, I could get away with it. I didn't set any speed records. My intensity wasn't amazing, but I got in really good functional movements. I moved my body, and for weirdos like me that I can't relax if the workout's looming over my head, it's my mental health as well, I got in something every day. And that just made me feel free to enjoy my vacation, and we had an absolute blast. So that's it. So hopefully that just helps people understand. You've got a lot more leeway to play with these things if you understand what you're doing. Hopefully the podcast helps you do that. We, of course, miss Adrian Bosman. If he was here, the show would have been 10 times more interesting. My apologies for everybody just having to look at my ugly mug the whole time or listen to just my voice. We, of course, appreciate you. If you want to help keep the show moving in a good direction and giving us topics and ideas, we want to hear from you. So find this show on the btwb YouTube channel. If you've got ways that you've modified workouts on the road, post them. I want to see what the workout was and how you modified it. If you have to work out when you're on vacation, or you're like, you're crazy, I just totally decompress, let me know that as well. Do you have ideas for an upcoming show? Post those there. We read the comments. You can also post any of these things on the Very Not Random Instagram account as a public comment, or you can send a direct message on Very Not Random, and we get all of that information as well. So, for Adrian Bosman, off doing his thing, I'm Pat Sherwood, and we will see you next time.